So Ken, we're in the lead up to big county final for the club. Just reflecting back on last weekend when you won the semi-final, you got when I was talking to you last, it was Saturday, so you wouldn't have known who you're playing. You know now it's Loughmore after they're coming through very difficult
Yeah.
conditions and very difficult game with Thurles. But just your thoughts on Loughmore in general from seeing them on Sunday.
Yeah, sure. The conditions were awful on Sunday, and probably didn't look good for them at half time, but they grounded out in the second half as Loughmore do. So, um, look, sure, they're a fantastic club, and they've been at this stage several times over the last number of years. So they have the experience, and sure they have the class, and yeah, they were fully deserving winners on Sunday, and. Sure, whoever we were going to get, it was going to be tough, Sarsfields or Loughmore, but it's Loughmore now, and yeah, it's trying to get ready now over the next week or so now and try and nullify their threats and try and plan for them.
Looking back on, I suppose the last couple of years, 2008, the last time you got to a final, that was 16 years ago. You would have been playing that day. A lot of the lads playing now in the county final for you this year probably wouldn't have played in a county final before. What's kind of how do you, what's the advice you give? I think you played in maybe 10, 12 county finals. What's the advice you kind of give to the younger lads who maybe haven't featured on what is, it's a big day. I suppose you could say it's just another game, but there
Yeah.
is more kind of fanfare around the county final.
Yeah, obviously the build up is huge, and it's important to enjoy the build up too. You know what I mean? That's what makes county finals so special. Just the colour and everything around it, the flags out, and everybody in the parish gets involved. So for them to enjoy it, but also just to get back in the field and stay doing what we've been doing for the last number of months. And working together and enjoying each other's company at training and just really relishing the challenge, because it's going to be a huge challenge, you know what I mean? So they have to be ready for that. There are distractions obviously on county final day with parades and stuff like that, but isn't it a great place to be, and it'll be a great experience for them. But in some ways we had a smaller, same experience in a North final this year. A lot of lads hadn't played in a North final either, and North finals are big days too. So I think they handled themselves well that day, and that'll help them on county final day as well.
Looking back on that period when you were playing, like up to the 2008 final, you had, was it 11 county finals in 17 years or something like that. Looking back on that, it must be just real special times to have been a part of those big days with the club.
Yeah, and I suppose looking back on it now makes it even more special. I suppose when you're young and you're hurling and you're in the full of your health, you kind of let it bypass you a little bit. You know what I mean? Even though we were an extremely determined side, and we knew we were good, and we knew we could win every year. Every time we went out, we could win. And there was a good few years there that we didn't win, though. That we were expected to win. '96 county final was one that got away. 2002 semi final was one that got away. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, it was a massive era for Toome, but we had class players coming through, but it was all based on our underage. You know what I mean? I think we might have won 11 or 12 on North titles in a row, maybe. And Neil Willems was a huge part of that, and just building that generation of hurlers.
Going from that success then for that prolonged period, for 2 decades of just pure success, to maybe the last 15, 16 years, this is your first time back in a county final, 2008. How has that period been for the club, and kind of what's maybe changed between '08 and 2024 to get back to the Danbury final?
Well, I think the underage success had dried up, and that's probably the main reason why we haven't been there. Now, we were competitive. We had a real chance in 2010. I think nearly a last bucket of ball. Pat Burke scored a free last bucket of ball to knock us out. I think we would have won in county final that day. That was a semi-final had we gotten over Sars that day. We were competitive. I think we won North titles in 11 and 12 as well. So it wasn't like we just disappeared. We didn't, but we've been competitive without making the strides to North finals and county semi-finals and finals. So but we've been trying hard, and I think it goes in periods like that as well, for not just for us, for a lot of clubs. So but we're trying to get back on the road now.
So it's the way this year has gone, as you mentioned, you got to a North final, you've got through. I suppose going into that last group game in the county championship, it was still up in the air. You had to beat Killer One. You've bet Killer One. You've progressed on to Brackens and Mike Harkey, and Now it's another mid-team in Loughmore, but just the progression of the year, getting to that North final, probably on the back foot at the start of the county championship. I'd imagine the squad has kind of grown throughout this campaign.
Yeah, so getting the North final was a big thing. We were very disappointed losing the North final. We went into injury time and we didn't get the breaks. Kildangan got the break for the goal and they sealed it. It could have been, that could have been us easily enough, but we probably went into the Bursley match thinking, if we hurl, we'll win, but we were very poor for half an hour and, we just didn't get over the line there. But then that made every game after that important because we went into the Drum game was huge because you lose to Drum, you were actually guaranteed to be in relegation. So every game since then has been knockout, and we've come through it. You know what I mean? We haven't pulled up many trees maybe, but we've been winning and winning tight games, and hopefully that experience will stand to us. In the final.
The path to the final, I suppose, the main man free so far has been Darragh McCarthy. He's had kind of a year to remember in terms of Harty Cup, Tip under 20s, and now here he's in a county final. Obviously, it's been a team effort, of course, but Darragh has been the standout player, and such a young age. It's just not something you see every year. So there's obviously something maybe a little bit different about Darragh McCarthy than your average 19-year-old, I suppose.
Yeah, look, he's precocious. Like he's ahead of the game maybe for his age. But if you knew Darragh, and I taught him when he was for a little while when he was in school in Ballinree, he has that spark and he has something. He's a great chap and he's great character and he's great personality and he has that spark. You know what I mean? He's bowed as a pig in some ways. You know what I mean? He doesn't care. You know what I mean? And all he wants to do, he just said to me the other night, we're having a laugh. I'm here to train, he says. You know what I mean? We're just having a joke. And that's all he wants to come. He wants to train, he wants to hurl. And that's like, you could come down here any day. You could come down here anytime, any day. And you could come into this hurling field and you could probably be guaranteed, if you come in here 7 days a week, you've been guaranteed five out of that 7, he'll be inside hitting frees or hitting balls.
Yeah, so it's no fluke. The place is a hive of activity with school splits, I think, on here as we're talking. But it's been a great year for the club, I suppose, getting far in under 19 and junior competitions and underage, under 13 county final and things like that, and now the senior county final. There's flags all over the place as I was driving in. Kind of a special time to be around the club.
Of course, county finals is the pinnacle of any club, isn't it? And we've had a good year. Our under 13s won a county final. Our 15s did well. Our 17s and 19s all got to North finals, and the 19s got over the line and did 2 in a row at North level. And there's 21s to come as well, but yeah, the juniors did really well as well. So it's been a good year. You know what I mean? It's been a good year, and I suppose it's all momentum too, and it all adds to it. And the club there's a good buzz around the club even outside of the hurling as well. You know what I mean? There's a huge fundraiser going on now in November for our Oscars night, and like the crack and the involvement of not just club members, it's parishioners and people even outside of it, and everybody is drawn in, and that's going to be a special night as well. So all of that helps to where we're going.
To just finish on the game itself, I was talking to the Loughmore manager Eamon Kelly after their win on Sunday, and he referred to your team as probably the hardest working team in the division, and I think that's a very fair comment from the games I've seen. You've unbelievable work rate around the field. That doesn't come by accident. There's obviously a group mentality in there to really work hard. How has that kind of been cultivated in the squad, that kind of real hard work mentality?
Yeah, but sure, I suppose it comes from us as a management. I suppose it comes from Shane. To be able to work that hard, you need to be in good shape, and Shane has them in good shape. You know what I mean? And of course, there's motivation. And again, I think those new players like Darragh McCarthy and those younger players like Jake and Josh and Adam Hall, they've added to it. Conor O'Farrell wasn't around last year. He's added to it. Barry O'Connell's a new player in, and he's added to it, and all of them things help. And look, sure, everybody knows that hurling is a bit, it's a simple game. When you do work hard, you'll get your reward. You know what I mean? And that's all. And it's not. We haven't been pushing it that hard. We know they have to work, but they know too, and they're driving each other on. You know what I mean?
And Loughmore, I think we've all been admiring Loughmore the last kind of decade or so with the McGraths and co. What are you kind of expecting from them? It's going to be probably another game where you're going to have to be forced to give it 100%.
Yeah, look, you mentioned that maybe we're the hardest working team. I don't know. Loughmore, I'd say, are every bit as they work every bit as hard as us, and maybe a bit more. Looking at them last Sunday, they were outstanding. You know what I mean? They won dirty ball after dirty ball. You know, they're extremely athletic. They run hard and they keep the ball really well. So, in some ways, they're similar to us, I would say. You know, they're direct enough when they need to be direct. They can run through the lines when they need to run through the lines, and you know, they're not afraid of a dogfight like ourselves. So we're very similar, and I think we'll match up well. And you know, they have a lot of class. Obviously, we know the lads that they have, and we're going to have to come up with a plan to stop them. And if we don't stop them, we won't win.
Finally, like you, obviously, we mentioned playing in a lot of county finals yourself. This is going to be your first one on the sidelines. Will there be different feelings, different emotions, different kind of levels of nerves, or how do you think it will be?
I haven't a clue, Paul. I just haven't a clue because I haven't been there before as manager or as part of a back room. But look, I'm really looking forward to it. For me now at the moment is just try and get through day to day and get training, you know, concentrate on training, you know, and don't look too far ahead. We have to prepare for it as well. But I'd imagine it's going to be a great day. I can't wait for it really, and you know, I've great help with my back room and my management team, so we'll be fine and we'll get there and we'll be ready.
Did you enjoy the county finals yourself playing? Like looking back, were you nervous? Were you cool, collected? What way? What kind of were you going in?
I was always cool enough. Yeah, you'd always have a few nerves, but I was cool enough. But I suppose it was easy for us in some ways because all you had to do was look around the dressing room. You saw what was around you, and you had complete faith and trust and belief in those lads, so that made it a little bit easier, you know what I mean? And you know, county final days are special, obviously, and they went relatively okay for me. I'd say 08 I didn't play great, but we got over the line, you know what I mean? And some days you play well, some days you don't. But what you want is your team pulling together and working hard, and if you get that, you know, you'll always have a chance.
Well, Ken, very best luck and thanks for talking to us.
Not a bother, Paul. Thank you.
Go!
It's down to the final two in the FBD Insurance County Tipperary Senior Hurling Championship as Loughmore Castleiney take on Toomevara in the final this Sunday in FBD Semple Stadium. Throw in 3:45. Tip FM will bring full live coverage and analysis in association with Mullinahone Co-op, fueling farms and families and simplifying your farming life since 1893.